Hi everyone, Carlos here with you this morning. I wanted to talk to you about something that is quite a trend nowadays. As the last video that I made, it was kind of short, and I mentioned a little bit about influencers in the cosmetic industry, which is an $800 billion industry. And there are people, young people, 20 years of age, who are buying $1 million homes just to be an influencer, by doing tutorials on how to apply makeup, how to use hair products, clothing, you name it, even jewelry, you name it, it is out there. And there are people making millions of dollars off of it. Because if you take a young person, for example, and you use them as an influencer, how many Instagram followers do they have? The last time I checked, one of the influencers had over 30,000 followers. So by making these videos on YouTube, one of them had over 10 million followers. And the same with Facebook, because you can obviously connect all these social medias together and get your point across in whatever it is that you're trying to sell. So as influencers, whether you are in business or not, whoever came up with the term small business obviously never owned one, because a small business is a lot of work, especially if you're on your own. However, the case may be, whether you are a business owner, entrepreneur, starting your own business, or you have been in leadership for a while, I have 15 tips to share with you today that could help you, whether you are in business or whether you are in ministry. This business of mine is dedicated to the Lord, so I feel like I could speak about both spectrums with you, in essence of leadership and being influencers. Leaders must influence others to achieve goals. You cannot have a vision or a mission or a business plan without goals, without a strategic plan of how you're going to carry out that plan. And they must gain the respect of the followers in order to influence them. So if your followers don't respect you, they're not going to be anything to you. This is not easy. It's not an easy task, but if you want to have the respect of your followers and become an influential leader, these simple rules will help you, whether you are just beginning your leadership journey or have been leading for many years. If you are a small business owner, or you're selling a product or a service, you're still a leader. You're leading people to a product, to a service, like I said before. So in essence, you're leading people. You will advise them on, this is good for you, this is not good for you, this is the difference between this product or that product. Or if you're in ministry, obviously you want to make sure that your leaders are people of influence within their own ministry and their own people that they are in charge of. So number one, find your style and inspire. When you find your style, be authentic, be you. Don't try to put on this false charade of something that you are not, because people are going to be able to see right through you. So find your style. My style is kind of very laid back. I once in a while will crack a joke or whatever, but for the most part, I'm very just laid back, and I try to be as authentic and as transparent as possible without giving away my personal information. One of the most important things you can do as a leader is cultivate self-awareness. Knowing your leadership style will help you to be more intentional about using it well and managing its shortcomings. Do you lead with expertise, charisma, caring, armed with awareness? you can leverage your unique style to become more influential and inspire others. When you inspire others, one of the ways that you can inspire people is by sharing where you got to where you are now, the struggles that you've been through, the failures, the success, the different things that have gotten you to build your character to the person whom you are today. And hopefully you are a person who is grateful for the people that you have around you, and you thank them, and once in a while reward your people for doing a good job to make you look good, because basically they work behind the scenes and you are the leader, so you are in the front. Demonstrate integrity. Nothing can ruin your influence and respect faster than a lack of integrity. Integrity, however, is not just avoiding unethical choices and situations. Integrity is intentionally molding a culture of values and service. So if you have a business, whether it's on the internet, whether it is in a building, office, church, you want to create a culture within that circle that you want the integrity to be followed by. People want to imitate that as well. Finish your homework. This is extremely important. One of the best advices that I could give to you as a leader, as a business owner, when someone comes to you, you don't necessarily have to give them an answer right away. We don't know it all. You could have gone to school for many, many, many years. Times have changed. Things change. We're not in the 80s. We're not in the 90s. We are in the year 2020, where things are changing at a rapid pace, more than we can keep up with for most people. However, doing your homework will you could say to someone, for instance, someone comes to you and asks, what about this choice, or what do I do about this situation? If you don't know the answer, the best thing that you could do to keep your integrity as well and not give them false information or guide someone in the wrong direction is, can I get back to you on that? I don't have the answer for you right now, but I am going to do what I need to do to find out, and I will get back to you. That person will appreciate that more from you, because they know that you have invested time, not just into yourself, but them as well. As a leader, the more you know about what you're getting into, the more prepared you are to address it well. This could be hard data like market research, competitive analysis, and customer satisfaction. Trends or informal research that comes from asking around. Leaders get informed and stay informed. You cannot progress without being kept up with the trends that are going on. It is insane to keep doing the same thing that you were doing 10 years ago and trying to apply it into a society today that lacks attention. So, like for instance, this video right now is at 8 minutes. I doubt that most people will watch all of it, but for the sake of being influential, those who really care and want to do their own research will pay attention. Invest in yourself. This is a pet peeve of mine. There's a lot of people who spend most of their day on social media. Most people don't know this, but most of my posts are pre-scheduled. I don't really sit on Facebook all day. I try not to, because it could be very distracting, especially with all the false information that is flying around nowadays. So therefore, before I even jump on there, before I do anything, before I create a post or a content, I do my own research. All while I am listening to books, I am reading, or I am watching videos that are detrimental to my field in whatever that is, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in social media, whether it's in ministry, whether it is personal growth or spiritual growth, I am my own biggest asset as well as you are, and your customers will see that. They'll know, wow, this person really has their facts and things together. So it is important that you are informed. Don't come at someone with something that was posted on Facebook, because people can fact check you like that. So at the snap of a finger, people will know whether you're being authentic or not. Don't ask obvious questions to an obvious problem. Be the answer to the solution that your client or your the people under you who either work for you or who are in leadership with you or that you lead. Make sure that you are investing into yourself. Leaders, invest in learning, grow your expertise, get certified, cross-train. The more you cross-train people, the more you empower them to be your eyes and ears, your hands and feet in your business or in your ministry. Because the more you empower people, the more they have a sense of ownership. Like, wow, I'm really a part of this mission. And therefore, I'm going to do what my leader is doing, because he or she is setting the example for what is to come. Even though I may not see it, I know that it can be achieved because we have all set all these things in place, and consistency is a huge thing. The greater your competence, the more others will respect you and the effort you made to learn about what they do. So you're investing not only in yourself, you're also investing in them. You're pouring yourself into them so that they can learn more. The best thing and the best employees that I've ever come across are those that when I was trained in what's called training consultant, one of the things they always emphasized with us was to get to know a little bit about our employees. This gives you an edge on how to have a personal conversation with them and not just always be like the boss giving direction. You need to do this, I need you to do that. You get to know, how are your kids? How's your husband doing? And, or if someone's in the hospital, how's your mom, or blah, 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 blah. That lets them know that you care and that you are invested in who they are as a person and not just a number. 5, manage your brand. Whether you are a church, a hairstylist, a barber, a fitness, a coach, a life coach, or someone who is in ministry, brand yourself. And I'm not talking about burning a thing. I'm talking about create an entity to separate yourself from everyone else. If you look at churches nowadays, all what they call stages, which I refuse to call a stage, it's an altar, all look the same. Everybody has this trend going on, so everybody feels that they all have to do the same. Not so in business, because if you're gonna look, if McDonald's looks just like Burger King, then they don't have an edge on either one or the other. And I will tell you this much, Nike is not worried about Reebok. They have their own mission to accomplish. So, manage your brand. Leaders understand the importance of perception. Perception is everything. For instance, in sexual harassment, if you perceive it to be sexual harassment, you think in your mind that that's what it is. So perception ensures that your work strengths are not being perceived negatively by asking for feedback. Engaging in a 360 assessment and communicating proactively what you intend to accomplish with a particular action or question. So when you are planning something, you're going to want to get everyone involved. So again, they feel a sense of ownership. you don't always have all the answers. Synergy is an amazing thing when you get everyone together and everyone involved and everyone's giving their ideas, and you're like, oh, I never thought about that, or I never looked at that in that objective, or and from that angle. And everyone can come together to create an amazing either product, service, ministry, whatever it is, something that is not like everybody else, something that's going to make you stand out. For instance, I just saw an advertisement that said the church has left the building. And I was like, at first I was like, what? And then I got it. The church has left the building. They are out in the community actually doing something. And I thought, what an amazing concept, because that's what it's really all about. But they went ahead and made all these t-shirts, letting people know in the community that they are no longer working inside this building. They're actually out there doing something about the community issues, about what society is facing today. Number 6, concentrate on the future. Not so much to concentrate on the future that you forget about what's happening now. A leader's job is to interact with the future on behalf of its constituents. Spend time doing things that only you can do. Delegate other important areas to competent team members. Let me emphasize this. If you have not trained them, if you have not given them the resources, the tools, the time, the details, the communication to accomplish what it is that you are delegating to them, you have no right to breathe down that person's neck and hold them accountable, because it was up to you to make sure that they got what they needed to accomplish what you are delegating. I've seen it in churches where people make leaders, they give them a title but no training whatsoever, and then they just show up on Sundays and they fill a seat, and that's all they do. But yet they have a title. Establishing a vision and keeps you focused on overall goal. Resist the temptation to spend too much time solving day-to-day problems. That's why you have people who can help you. If they are costing you progress toward your vision. So, that was number 6. Number 7, understand people personally. Again, great leaders get to know their people. What are their hobbies? What are their kids' names? What are they good at? What motivates them? You have to know what motivates people. It's amazing when you get someone and you see that spark in their eye and they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. And demonstrate a genuine interest in people. Care about them. Create culture where people feel supported personally and not just professionally. It is detrimental that they feel cared for. As a leader, you are to care for your people. If you are a pastor, then you are the shepherd who looks after the sheep. If you're a deacon, you look after the congregation. If you are the boss and you're the entrepreneur and you have an assistant, you need to care for that person, because that person spends more time with you than they do when they're all with their own family. So make sure that you care for them. Number 8, position people professionally, not out of a need. The worst mistake that I ever saw as a leader was when other leaders that were under me would promote people because there was a need and that person was not prepared. You're throwing them to the wolves, and it's not fair. You're setting that person up for failure. And that is not fair for them. That's not fair to the customers. That's not fair to the other employees who have to deal with someone who is incompetent. By understanding their people, leaders are better equipped to help them be successful. Put them in places that will foster professional growth and help them achieve their career goals. When people succeed in their careers and enjoy the job they are doing, the organization benefits in turn. When I worked for McDonald's Corporation, which I worked for them for most of my adult life, I always said I will leave this job when I no longer enjoyed it. And let me tell you something, I don't regret working for McDonald's Corporation. They invested so much into me, from a crew person all the way to operations manager. The things that they do, the benefits that this company had, and the way they cared for you. Yes, we worked a lot of hours. I was dedicated. It was all I knew. But the benefits were out of this world, and everything was an organization that was prepared for what was to come. For instance, I don't know if you remember when 1999 was happening and everyone was worried about the 2000K. We had a contingency plan. What are we going to do if everything fails? If the computer system fails, how are we going to process payroll? You have to think ahead. So, number 9, praise liberally. When people do good job, make sure they know it. Some will want an email, others an announcement in a meeting, still others monetary reward. Whatever the case, if it lies within your power, grant it. There is no such thing as too much sincere appreciation for a job well done. Sorry, but it bothers me, especially when you spend hours doing something. People think that, for instance, in my case, creating a website, they think that it's just pushing a button and wham, it appears. I wish it were that case, because I will be doing 10 a day. Or editing video for someone takes anywhere from 3 to 5 hours to edit that video, and then you send it to them and you don't even receive a thank you, you don't receive a response, or you email someone with what they needed and not even an appreciation. When you have someone like that as a boss, go somewhere else, because they're not going to appreciate anything else you do, because that person is making it all about them. I'm sorry, I have to be completely honest. One of the things that we were taught in business was to always praise in public and reprimand in private. It is not team building to reprimand someone in front of everybody else. What you're doing is you're belittling, you are diminishing that person, you're embarrassing them, and you are making them feel completely unable to do their job, and therefore their morale goes way down, and you can guarantee that that person is not going to give you 100% of their of their performance. So, number 10, coach and advocate. Help people, be a resource, a sounding board. Let people tell you, a safe place to talk. Have an open door policy where people can come to you at any given moment, obviously within reason. If you want the people you lead to respect you, you need to know you are on their side. Advocate for them, help them get the promotion they've been hoping for. If you have someone that you know that has the potential to be something greater, spend time on them and advocate for them, and spend the time not just with them, but showing them the ropes, mentorship, and you will see how that person will flourish, and it'll help your company, because it's an additional benefit not just to you. It'll make your job much easier. It'll benefit everyone else as well, and then other people will be motivated, like, wow, if that person can do it, so can I. Leverage your influence on their behalf. How to stop feeling overwhelmed. It can be overwhelming because as a leader, you have everybody pulling you in different directions. You have a lot of goals, things in your mind. Sometimes you lose sleep, like in my case. A lot of times I have to use my creativity, and creativity is a process. It just doesn't pour out of you. Especially if you're in ministry, you have to seek God's guidance, because you're doing it for Him and you want to do it how He wants it done, not how how it's going to look good to others. You want to, obviously, for him to get the glory. If you're in business, you want your customers to see the resources and the what you've poured into your employees, because they will be influential to your customers. If you're feeling overwhelmed, here's the solution. Forge partnerships. This is extremely important. This is number 11. Self-aware leaders understand that the folly of trying to be all things to all people is impossible. To be an expert in everything. Instead, surround yourself with people who possess qualities you lack. If you lack detailed orientation, bring in someone who is organized. If you forget to ask for input at a meeting, ask someone who is more naturally inclusive to bring it up. Excuse me. Number 12, ask before telling. Leaders listen. Leaders listen. They know what's going on in the room. They are aware of their surroundings. They're listening to their employees. They're listening to the people they lead. Excuse me. Wow. Don't assume you know the answer to a question you have asked. If you haven't asked, excuse me. Inform your perspective with the input of others. Invite skepticism. Only after this vetting process you can be certain you have made the right assignment or decision. 13. Anticipate and optimize. Always think ahead. Ask yourself, what could go wrong here? I remember one morning working, I was like, what could go wrong here? And I don't know if you know what an ANSEL system is. An ANSEL system is what put out fires in the restaurant. Well, back in those days, they, excuse me, let me take a drink of my coffee here. No drama llama. And back in those days, the ANSEL system wasn't just liquid, it was actual, it looked like Ajax. Well, that particular morning, I knew that one of the ANSEL system is round like this. The glass had broken, and I was telling the employee, please be careful, because if you're sweeping and you hit that with the handle of the broom, you're going to set off the ANSEL system. Well, guess what? No sooner did I said it, she did it, and the restaurant was closed for 8 hours because we had to clean up all the Ajax powder that was everywhere. So always anticipate what could go wrong here. What is the market change? Is there anything else you can do to make success more likely? These questions help leaders create the best possible plan. Once executed, to be sure to revisit. One of the things that I loved, again, about McDonald's is they always gave us what's called a refresh course, so that we were up to date with all the different changes in culture. There was times when we couldn't hire employees who had beards or tattoos or piercings. That was not acceptable. Then they changed because they realized that wherever the restaurant was, that's what society looked like. So they started hiring people that would look like that. I hope that makes sense to you. Leaders create the best possible plan. Once executed, be sure to revisit, using the feedback you gain to optimize and tweak where necessary. Nothing is set in stone. You can tweak it. Just make sure that if you have set a procedure in place, that everyone is involved in making sure that procedure works for everyone and not just for your benefit. Number 14, take risks. Without risk, no reward exists. Leaders take risks, but before they do, they minimize them by soliciting information and perspective. After that, they move forward courageously, trusting themselves and their people. 15. Expect greatness. And this is the best part. Never settle. Leaders persist towards perfection, not by being a tyrant, not by being someone who is demanding, but remain steadfast in the belief that our best days are ahead of us and work towards making that true. Paint the picture of what it will look like when we get there. Inspire and become an influential leaders. Respect will come. Excuse me. I seem to have a frog or two in my throat today. But lastly, one of my the best advice that I could give you as a leader is communication is key. If you are not a clear communicator, whether you're delegating a task, and when you delegate someone, make sure that you're picking the right person that is competent. Make sure that you give them detailed instruction on how to complete that task so that when it's completed, it is to your expectation. Number 3, give them the resources that they need to complete the task and give them the ability to give you feedback. And number 5, finally, follow up. Make sure that you follow up. The worst, it's like a parent who always says, if you keep doing that, I'm going to beat you, but you never do it, so the kid always laughs like, if you don't follow up, employees will be like, whatever. This person doesn't care. If they know that you're going to follow up, believe you me, they will do exactly what they need to do. I hope that this has helped you to help you become a better leader, not just in business, but in your community. I believe that we are leaders in different aspects, whether it's parenting, whether it's in business, whether it's in church, whether it's in ministry, whatever it can be. I pray and I hope that it has blessed you and that it has helped you. If you have any questions by any means, please let me know. Take care.
Dios me lo continúe bendiciendo mientras los niños van saliendo, los niños de